Hey y'all, welcome back to the ranch. I'm Jared Paul, and today it's going to be all about the pencil cactus. I have a ginormous mother plant that we're going to take a look at and see if we want to mess with any of that muscular growth that it has going on. I absolutely love this thing. It reminds me of Laura's crazy blonde hair. It just grows wild and crazy, and this one has a nice full cascade. You see how gnarly the roots are getting. I actually want that. I just want those crazy thick roots just growing all over the place. Eventually, I'll have to get a bigger pot, I think, just for pure weight. But as you see, it's taken over this entire table, which is fine by me. It's really liking the spot in the house because there's windows to the right, to the left, behind, in front, surrounded. So, anyways, if you could see these, I had put some tiny little cuttings in this jar with some water and just let it sit in a window. One of them has some really good roots growing, and then the other two I think will make it. So we're going to get those potted up in a couple of tiny mame pots. And if you've been following this playlist, you know that I made some really large cuttings. Some planted in soil, and some I did like an aquarium type of theme. So it's just in a huge vase with water that I change out regularly. You got to be careful with the water ones because it tends to turn green with some algae or something like that. I'd say about once a month. But anyways, I'm going to stop talking because that's what we got coming up on today's episode of Jarhead Bonsai. All right, so this is the original cutting. It's been rooted and growing well, I'd say for about a year and a half. So I have it coming out of an old channel whelk shell that we got when we were down in Mexico, Laura and I. And I don't know where I found that, but it instantly made me think of my wife. So she got added to it. And then I was just having fun with it. So I did a little note in a bottle, and it says "One Love." So anyways, as you see, this one doesn't have a woody trunk yet, but they do grow crazy. And that's the appeal of this plant for me. I have plenty of bonsais to mess with, to raise the canopies and do the proper techniques, but these are just all fun experiments. This one today, I think I'm going to take out this part that's straight up because that's just terrible. And then actually, you know what? Maybe I will do more of a traditional bonsai style with this cutting since it's already got a singular trunk going up. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Cool. So this one was also a cutting. I mean, really, this I'm not even close to an expert on pencil cactus. That's just how easy they are to grow. I mean, I haven't shipped one across the pond to my buddy Scott Winard at Let's Do Bonsai, and his survived. So if you haven't checked out his channel, he has a lot more impressive plants than that pencil cactus cutting, but great dude. So let's move on. Let's check out one that is in the water. Here we go. It's a nice large vase, nice large cutting, and it's just creeping out under there, searching for the sun. I just like it in the backdrop. Have it under my pineapple guava and poinsettia plantings. So that's just off the kitchen there. And then I took the long way. I have another one over here. I was actually just watching Scott's video on the jades, and I figured, let me get my camera out. So this one, perfect. As you see, I got to change the water out. So there's some shells and coral and some stone in there. And then it's just dropped down in the middle of that shell. And that's how I wanted the roots to grow. So I'll get that all cleaned up. You just pull it out, set this to the side. The roots won't dry out too quickly. Don't be lazy, take everything out, rinse it, wash out the algae and put in some fresh water. And you're good, 4 to 6 weeks. It's really not that hard. Cool. All right, so y'all are going to have to bear with me until I get a new tripod in. I pulled what Laura calls a Viking and used ridiculous amount of strength for no reason to open up the tripod, and I broke one of the legs off, ripped it right off. So I'm gonna have to like prop this up on something, but there is just one branch I was thinking about taking out of here, and it's this one here. It comes from underneath, and that's not the part that bothers me, but you see it heads up. So it kind of goes against the flow of the rest of the branches. The rest of the branches come out, and then they explode down and around, even the ones out the back. But that guy comes up. Would you be a nice cutting? Do I want to bother? You know what? I'm not going to. I'm just going to let this thing grow like crazy through the summer, and then I want to find a little bit bigger, deeper black pot. I think black will go great with the pencil cactus, hence the 3 black mame pots that I've picked out for today's plantings. So I think I'm going to do one with pumice and perlite, and then I'm going to do the other 2 with my standard topsoil mix. We'll see which ones do better. So actually, I only have my mixture with pumice and perlite, so that's what they're all getting, obviously. I probably shouldn't have done this in the morning. I like have so much energy in the morning that my hands are shaking. Yeah, some nice roots on that one. It's already got a good spread. Looks like some new growth coming up here. The new growth always comes in yellow, and then it gets a darker green. I don't know if eventually, like, the branches themselves will start to get woody, but I have had this. This was something that I got before I even did my first bonsai starter kit. It was like $3 at a local nursery. I was looking to get into just getting new plants and filling our home with, you know, some variety and green. And so the price was right, and it was very attractive. It was in the tiniest pot. It was almost in a pot about this size, and it was probably taller than this, and it had a couple of trunks. But outside of that, this thing loves to grow. So with these little ones, these mames, if it's a typical tree, standard tree, I top it off with a little bit of moss. I get it from outside, and then I go around and I mist and spray them a couple times a day, or give them a good soaking, you know, every 3 or 4 days. But with like succulents or these pencil cactus, I'm just going to leave the nice white and gray pop from the pumice and perlite. Not so many roots on this one. Right, there's 2. When you start running out of room inside, you resort to mame pots. So that was one of my goals for this year. I got 20 of the pots. I think maybe at this point half of them are full. I've had some success. I had a Korean birch cutting that is budding out now. If I think to show you after this, I will. And then I had a little baby Pinus strobus, a weeping white pine that I grew from seed. And that's in there, and it's looked like it has its secondary budding coming up. And then there was a little arborvitae from seed that wasn't looking too good, but I gave it a shot. So we'll see if that one survives. I don't know. And I did three succulents and little mames, and they're right next to it, and they're doing all well too. So I'm just gonna flip the camera around and give you a little show. Okay. So from left to right, that's the Korean birch I was telling you about. This is that arborvitae. I believe it has some buds, and it's gonna survive. It just looks terrible. And then this is the Pinus strobus baby. And right over here are those little succulents I was telling you about. The one in front, towards the window, getting a little long, so I might have to, or at least top heavy. I might have to just pop those off. Anyways, I'm happy with how these turned out. So the trick is now finding a spot for them. But that's going to do it for us today here at the ranch, y'all. So I hope you enjoyed yourself. Hope you're staying well. Stay happy. Do something fun today. Don't let your Monday ruin your Sunday. All right? Enjoy it all day long. Take care.